Alright, what's going on, guys? gdoggcasey here, bringing you another StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm cast, this time featuring our blue Protoss player in the bottom right corner of Coda. He is representing Team All Inspiration, and he is Detiner. And his opponent in the top left corner of Coda, representing no one but himself, the red Terran player, it is none other than James Raynor. So we got a PVT. It's been forever since I've cast one of these. They just never seem to happen anywhere within All Inspiration or just in any of the replays that have been sent to me here. So finally getting a good look at some PVT here. We do have Detiner. I've casted one of his games already before. He showed us a very nice 4-gate defense with his own defensive 4-gate, and it looked really good. So this is going to be a platinum matchup. And guys, as always, if you want me to cast your replays, make sure you send me the replays at gdoggcasey SC2 at gmail.com, and I'll make sure I get around to doing that for you. Got a little bit of time these days to just dedicate specifically to casting StarCraft 2. Now we do have an 11 barracks going down here from Raynor, and an 11 gas. So this is something you'll typically see a Terran opponent do versus a Protoss. We'll have to see here. I wonder if he's going to go for this, because usually this transitions into a 3 Reaper play, and then it's followed up by Hellions and that type of thing. But we'll have to see. Scout going off for Detiner. He's going to get across that map. I think he's going to be able to get in before this gets walled off, unless Raynor specifically moves an SCV right away to wall it in. But the good thing about the 11-11 is that it's kind of hard to scout. Like, the difference between a 12-12 is not really that much, right? So I don't think Detiner's coming in here saying, like, oh, okay, it's an 11-11. I know what I'm up against, but we'll see. I expect a Reaper to be building here. There it is. And Detiner just seeing that. He's probably going to be expecting at least one Reaper, but I don't know if he'll expect more than that. And yeah, he's just going to go ahead and get out of there. He just wants to make sure that everything is normal, right? Like, make sure the barracks is actually there. Make sure there's no super fast command center that he can't punish, that type of thing. And he's actually moving his probe to a little bit of a sneaky position over here. This is never good if you are not the actual Protoss player moving that probe there. So in a position where Raynor most likely won't be scouting unless he is specifically looking for a proxy. First Reaper on its way out, and it looks like we're going to see a command center going down here for Raynor. He's not following it up with another Reaper here. So I think he basically just took a little bit of a hit to his economy in order to squeeze this Reaper out a little bit earlier. I'm not 100% sure if I actually like that decision or not. We'll see, though. If he can pick off a probe or two, that'll look pretty good. But the Mothership Core is already out. One probe does go down, though. If he gets a second probe, that'll make things really worth it. But no, he does get out of here with his life. That Mothership Core, incredibly good at defending against Reapers, but one probe did go down, so overall it wasn't the absolute worst thing. And the one thing about this Reaper, though, is it didn't actually get a very good scout off. Like, if we take a look, it barely saw anything. This is where your Protoss tech is going to be hidden, so he needs to get there. We even have pylons here just to sort of prove my point there. But he's more interested about taking his base, getting his factory, and another barracks here. So this is going into like a 2 barracks factory style. He's quite heavily supply blocked right now, though. Only just now getting out of that block, able to make some Marines. And Detiner taking his expansion here, so he's going to defend. Now, this seems a little bit aggressive to me coming out of Raynor, making the extra barracks before the starport comes out. We'll see if that's exactly what he plans to do. I mean, he can't make the starport until that factory finishes anyway, so maybe he's just trying to spend his money in any way he can. Probe getting in here, spots the expansion, gets gunned down by 2 Marines. And we are switching onto the reactor here. So this could be either Hellions or Widow Mines. I'm expecting Hellions. Normally you would expect Widow Mines, but with no starport in sight yet, I have a feeling it's going to be Hellions. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, robotics facility coming down for Detiner. I love this play. Against a Terran opponent, the Robo is so good to have, because if it is Widow Mines, which actually it is, we can see that over here, then you can get your Observer out nice and fast. You can get Immortals out for nice defense, and you can move into a Colossus play, which is just really good overall against Terran. So really like that play out of Detiner. Something that I would do every game if I was playing Protoss. We'll see if he decides to go for that Observer first, because that's going to be incredibly important, and yes, indeed, Observer on its way. Was this pylon just scouted? It was. Nice scout here coming out of this Reaper, spotting that pylon over here. So he could actually move some Marines over there to take care of that. Still no starport on the way. This makes things a little bit strange for Raynor, as he doesn't have any way of actually transporting these Widow Mines. Maybe he's just using them defensively. I am not too sure. Yeah, I mean, he's got them in his own mineral line here, probably just defending against an Oracle. I think he's expecting Oracle play out of Detiner, and that's kind of what happens when you don't actually scout with that first Reaper. We see ourselves that there is no Stargate on the way. In fact, it's going to be Colossus and just an extra gateway here. So looking like we're going to see a little bit of a 2-base Colossus play coming out of Detiner. I'm not sure if a 3rd base is on the horizon when you get this robo facility so early. Getting extended thermal lance and going to be pumping out those Colossus. You can't really afford anything else when you try to do this as early as Detiner's doing it. But we'll have to see. Meanwhile, with no starport in sight, these Colossus are going to be able to do very well with no Vikings to counter them. There's the starport going down now, but that is pretty late. I don't expect Raynor to have enough Vikings out in time to defend against the Colossus, because every Terran player wants to get out at least, 4 or 5 medevacs first to make this stim worth it. So we'll see. There are tons of Widow Mines just burrowed everywhere in Raynor's base here, just overly defensive here with these mines. I have a feeling that he's been, he's gotten wrecked a few times by oracles or something like that if he wants to focus so much on the Widow Mine defense. Nice Hallucinate Phoenix getting a scout off, seeing what he expects to see. 3 barracks, starport. He doesn't see the factory, but he can, he sees the starport, so he knows that's there. And yeah, I mean, there is a forge going down for Detiner, so maybe he will be going into a 3rd base. Not really sure. I think we're going to see that very soon, though. And the observer just sort of scouting around, looking for whatever it can find. And again, just spotting the normal stuff here. Nothing too crazy. No 3rd base in sight for either player yet. Maybe we'll see +1 attack or something for Detiner. He is getting some cannons. I like this. This is really going to help against any sort of Widow Mine drop, which may or may not be coming. 3rd base now for Raynor, just going down right on the spot here. Going to be pretty hard to defend, especially since he actually saw this pylon early. I mean, a small Zealot Warpin can actually just cancel this. And Detiner's looking to be aggressive with a pylon here. But it looks like Raynor is looking to be aggressive as well. Stimpack is finished. Combat shields is finished, as well as +1 attack. +1 armor going to be done very soon too. And Detiner knows this is coming, sending out that probe. That pylon is no longer going to be built. But there's an engagement happening here with 2 Colossus in the back. Mothership Core could be dropping a time warp or something. These, lucky the observer was there, because those Widow Mines could have got some crazy hits off. And now Raynor finds himself in a difficult position of having to defend this 3rd base, which Detiner doesn't even know about, after just losing about half of his army. I mean, the supplies are 20 supply in advance for Protoss player as he kills off a few more Marines here. And this is going to be really hard. Now, these 3 Widow Mines are going to be pretty key for Detiner to pick off nice and early. As he pops Guardian Shield, goes on the bunker here. Widow Mine goes down, Observer goes down. 2 Widow Mines going off on Zealots, which actually did more friendly fire damage than anything, really. There's a big Widow Mine hit, but it does not do enough damage, as this 2-base Colossus push is doing so much damage to Raynor now. 3rd base is going down for Detiner down here as a follow-up here, and these Stalkers are going to find the 3rd base here, and then that's going to give Detiner the answer here as to why does Raynor just not really have very much. Wow, huge Widow Mine hits here, though. Even here, too, Colossus getting so much damage placed on them from these Widow Mines. Another one's going to go off here. So much damage, but not quite enough, as Raynor finding himself in a crazy amount of trouble. No counterattack in sight. Detiner continuing to warp in Stalkers to support this. I'd like to see an observer on the field to help out with these Widow Mines, but I don't think it really matters, as SCVs are being pulled off the line to fight against Colossus. Some Stalkers are going down, but all the workers are going down for Raynor. And these Stalkers are these Colossus, are doing so much damage here from the back, and that's going to be it. Raynor calls out the GG, and very nice 2-base Colossus play from Detiner. He's going to be the victorious Protoss player in this game. Thank you very much for sending me that replay. And guys, as always, if you want me to cast your games, send me those replays at gdoggcasey, SC2@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to cast them for you. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this particular game. Very nice display of Protoss there. I'm sure every one of us has felt this sort of defeat before. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you very much, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.